Welcome back, Saber fans. Tony here from Ronin Sabers, and today another hilt/install review for you. If you're new to the channel, I do install, repair, and review these sabers, so please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, website RoninSabers.com, where you can find my finished products and sound fonts, and now hilts. So if you're interested in that, definitely check out the link in the description below. So this is a big video. I know that I kind of postponed it for a while, and I'll kind of explain the reason why. Originally, I was going to have the prototype, and I was going to take it apart and show it empty and show you what it came with, and then I was going to show a video of it being installed or have it installed, and then show you the electronics and how it was installed, and then I was also going to make a separate video for the unique sound font I made for it. Now, all that I decided was going to just be easier to put in one video, so I kind of waited for the Khetanna batch of sabers to arrive for me to do this video. So I'll go through some of that. I also made some B-roll, which will be underlain under all this, so hopefully that gives you a better view of everything than me sitting at my desk and trying to show you stuff. So this is a big announcement for the channel as well as the business. This is the first production run that Ronin Sabers is doing. Now, I had sat and just started designing chassis a few years ago, and when I did that, I started designing my hand in certain sabers and stuff. Unique sabers, different sabers, stuff that I haven't seen before. Now, with these sabers, I wanted to make a saber for my own character. A saber that kind of was a mix of a Dark Saber, and then of course I'm a huge thin neck fan, so I decided to combine the two. At the time when I designed the saber, I wasn't sure if anybody else had done it before, and I thought I was going to be one of the first. Once I released and posted the prototype for the Khetanna saber, TJ Wells from Saber Ignition Co. messaged me and was like, "Hey, what's up? This looks very similar to mine." And me and him talked for a long time and about just the design and the Katana type community and just saber making in general. And so no bad blood between us and stuff. He actually was encouraged to buy one of these as well. But he hand lathes them. He was able to hand make all the Katana sabers, the Mercury saber and the several other sabers that he does. And so his are very, very unique in that sense. And the main thing about it was this lip here. I believe it's very similar to his. And my original design was for it to have a Obi-Wan grenade type system here where both edges are chamfered. And you can kind of still see that on the edges there, but it didn't look very good and didn't feel very good when I did my own 3D files and printing and stuff on it, so I ended up just deleting them. So any similarities that he has with his thin necks or whatever, or even just his Mercury saber, any similarities with this Katana hilt is completely coincidental, and I talked to him about that and stuff, and I didn't mean any disrespect with that. So take what you will with that. I know TJ will end up probably buying one and trying to compare it to his as well, but he also made thin necks, and I wasn't aware of that, and so he sent me pictures of Katana thin necks that he's made. Not necessarily Obi-Wan emitters like I had aimed for, but other very unique type sabers. So definitely check them out as well. I'm part of that Katana side of things now, so I have a lot of respect for him and stuff, and I just love his sabers as well. So yeah, my aim here was to make my own kind of Mandalorian Jedi saber hilt for my samurai Ronin character. Now, I personally love thin necks, and I really want to capture the type of thin neck as well as Katana saber. I also just wanted a saber that people could do whatever they wanted with. It's a clean canvas for them to either leather wrap or acid etch or even paint the neck or do whatever they wanted to make it their own. And in that sense, I wanted also just the hilt to be one of the simplest. This only comes in 3 parts, so it's very simple to tear down and put back together and all that jazz. Alright, so when it comes to the design, I wanted, again, a thin neck. Now, the emitter is roughly thin neck Obi-Wan Episode 3. I had kind of toyed with the idea. It was one of my favorite versions of the thin neck, and so I kind of toyed with the dimensions there. I made the neck really thick so it can be durable, and I'm not worried about anything breaking or anything like that. I'll show it on the other hilt here, but inside the saber, what I was wanting to do as well was have a recessed PCB area so that you don't lose any blade depth when you have the blade PCB inserted when you install the saber. So it'll also demo inside the B-roll that I have in the corner or whatever, so you'll see it. But there's a recessed area for the PCB that's about 0.8 inches, and it fits perfectly with Stock's Echo connector, and then of course a 3D printed holder for it. And so very, very nice. So I'll go through and I'll put this one aside real quick, and I'll go through and demo the hilt saber and all the accessories and stuff that it comes with. I've ranted enough at this point. So again, Obi-Wan kind of emitter with the katana bezel here, and then I did end up adding a lip right there just to make it kind of unique and different. I didn't want it to be exactly like a thin neck. Also, I kind of wanted more blade depth, and so that was a pretty easy way to do it. And so the hilt itself will come in 3 pieces, and then you'll have 3 screws and 1 D-ring. And so you'll have a number 2 Allen key for the hilt retention or hilt screw. So you want to undo that, and the emitter will pop off. You have an M3.5 times, I think it's 12 millimeters for the retention, for blade retention, which is nice. Very, very install friendly. I try to make it as easy as possible, especially with the chassis, to be as install friendly as possible, as well as just easy to access and take apart. You have an 8/32 screw here that can be taken apart by a number 1.5 Allen key. And of course, you have the body. Very slim. I believe that the dimension here is just 0.1, so it's 0.1 all the way around, which is very nice. And then you have the pommel. So 3 parts: emitter, body, pommel. 3 screws: retention, body, and then pommel. And then you do have a D-ring. Now, I didn't bring a spare one, so I'll just use the installed one already for it. But this is the D-ring that will be installed on the Sabers. Now, the way that I designed this was pretty cool. I messed with it when I 3D printed the hilt, but the way that this works is you have a loose D-ring when you're wearing it and stuff, and I don't like loose D-rings when I'm swinging the saber around, and I know that that can be really annoying whenever other people install it, and a lot of people, even when they have Graflexes or other hilts, it can be really annoying. And so I designed this little system where you can actually snap the D-ring into the pommel cube itself. So I can do it real quick. There you go. And so it's not dangling around all the time. I discovered that when I 3D printed it, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't realize that. So all the other Khetanna hilts as well will have that kind of little system. I also kind of designed this to be like a pommel cube. So if you don't want to run the D-ring and stuff, you can also use that as the pommel cube. And if you want it to be kind of more symmetrical, you could put a Covertech on this side, and so you have the pommel cube and the Covertech to hat on there. But anyways, and the other main difference between this and the prototype and the main thing is the finish. So the company that I had them machine and stuff, originally I wanted it to be a brushed finish so that there's not any fingerprints, and it was a lot easier, and the texture is a bit easier to grip. Now, the one thing that they recommended to me was that it was going to be cheaper, and it was going to be easier for them to do as well, just to have a normal machine finish on these bodies. Now, the one thing I don't like about that, which probably in future runs I'll probably still recommend probably the brush silver over the machine silver, but this run will just have all the machined standard finish on it. And so this has a lot of fingerprints on it. It's probably easier, not easier to scratch, but you can see all the machine marks on it. But yeah. And then the main thing too is for the button system, you have 5mm holes for like 5mm LEDs, so they fit snugly in there. So if you wanted to do a plunger system, which I'll kind of go through here, and I'll show it here. This is a little 5mm LED, and I actually kind of got this idea from the saber merchant. He did it on a Veterum saber hilt. And so basically the 5mm button sits inside this little channel here, and the button's sitting there as well. And the way that works is that it's basically a plunger inside the hilt here, which I kind of show real quick. So it slides right in there, and then you can slide the chassis in, and then it can use it as a button system. So you can use the 5mm LED buttons. They do kind of extrude a bit farther than you need to for the buttons, and so I do have a 3D printed plungers as well, which is what I end up installing or reinstalling my actual saber with. And so this will be secured and glued when you install it, and then of course the retention screw that holds the body in also holds in the chassis as well once it's glued in and stuff, so there's no interference when you put the retention screw in. So moving on, this is the installed version. This is the prototype that I first had, and I installed within the first few days I got it. Very fast turnaround time with the machining company. I was very pleased with that. No complaints there. They're very nice when it came to talking about the machines and the quality, and as well as any changes they needed from me and what could and can't be done. And so, as you see before, or mentioned before, this is the recessed PCB, so when you put a blade in, it hits that lip and still makes full stable connection. You have the 3D printed plungers, so I basically made a 3D printed version of the 5mm buttons. They're a bit shorter, and they fit very nicely here. You can hear that tactile on this. Now the chassis here is extremely simple. I wanted it to be as economic or easy to install and not flashy. I'm not a huge flashy person when it comes to chassis, but I'm sure somebody will design a very flashy chassis for this. And so it just has the Profi board. This one has a 3.9 in it. This is running Profio 7.12, I believe, currently, or at the time. And so it has a removable battery, positive and negative. This is the Saber Merchant's battery contacts that I used, and then a Smuggler's Outpost 28mm speaker. Now it has my insignia on it, and the Ronin Sabers and Arabesh, and then Katana on the other side, which is very nice. Now I'll go and show off the sound font. This sound font is specifically made for this Khetanna Saber. Now, I'm debating if I really want to release it to the public and make it something purchasable for other people. I almost want to make it exclusively for people that want it installed through me. So the other option that you have on the website is to have it installed through me, which is very easy. You save a bit of money for installs and stuff, as well as it comes with that unique sound font. And so I'll go through that sound font and stuff, and I'll show that. Depending on if people really like it or not, or if the katanas sell really well, I might do it. But as of right now, I think I want to keep it as a install exclusive type of thing for those that do order, because this is a big deal. It's Ronin Sabers' first production. I want to make it something unique and exclusive, and so it's just called the Khetanna. And so without further ado, let's put in a blade and show you off the font. Alright, so I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but it has about 0.7, 0.8 inches of blade depth, which is a decent amount for a thin neck saber. So this is just a 27-inch blade I've used for most of my demos and stuff, and so, yeah. This is the Khetanna sound font, which will be available for the installed version.
Katana.
So I wanted something very similar to kind of Ahsoka's, and I wanted just something different. And so this is kind of a mix between Luke Skywalker's and Ahsoka's sound font. The hum itself is like a Darth Maul hum, but it's been pitched up to be more of a Jedi-esque thing. Originally I did have the blade coded to be red, just because it fit my Ronin character a bit, but I thought white was kind of a bit more suiting for the Mandalorian / Ahsoka character. So several different ignitions on there. A decent amount of venting. I'm very actually surprised on how well this sounds with the venting and the speaker being sideways. Accents, your smooth swing. Blasters. Now, if you do get the saber installed, the Khetanna Saber installed, you can request that the Khetanna font be a different color. Since it is a unique sound font, it's up to the customer itself to determine what color you want. If you want it to be the silver, what I originally intended, then that's great. But you can have it coded to whatever color you want. So that includes the review for the Khetanna Saber installed and the sound font that's exclusive for it as well. These are available now on my website and Etsy shop, so definitely go check it out. Also, you can message me on Instagram if you're interested in it as well, to talk about the install and if you want what sound fonts and whatnot to go along with it. So yeah, thank you so much for the continuous support for the YouTube channel and the business. Of course, I hope you have a wonderful day, and may the Force be with you.